In the news headline, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu constitutes Presidential Committee on Tax Reform. Nigerian troops kills 35 terrorists in Northwest. United Nations to support 1,000 people who fled the conflict in Sudan. Good evening, listeners. Today is Friday, 19th Zulhijjah 1444 after Hijrah of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which is 7th July 2023. I am Salma Adam Iko with the news. President Bola Tinubu has approved the establishment of a Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms in line with his promise to remove barriers to business growth. The Presidential Advisor on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, disclosed this today in Abuja. He said that the committee will be chaired by Teyo Oyedele. The committee comprised of experts from private and public sectors and has responsibility of tax law reform, fiscal policy design and coordination, harmonization of taxes, and revenue administration. Special Advisor to the President on Revenue, Labu Adejiji, explained that Mr. Tinubu recognizes the importance of a sound fiscal policy environment and an effective taxation system for the government and the economy. The committee chairman, Mr. Oyedele, chairs the Taxation and Fiscal Policy Faculty Board of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, and is a member of the Nigerian Taxation Standard Board. President Bola Tinubu has pressed the decision of his Senegalese counterpart, President Macky Sall, not to seek a third term in office after the end of his tenure. There had been protests in Senegal in the first few weeks following speculations about a third term ambition of President Sall, who is moving toward the end of his second term in office. President Sall on Monday told people of Senegal, a country considered as one of the most stable democratic governments in Africa, that he will not offer himself as a candidate for the February 25, 2024 presidential election in his country. The President Tinubu noted that with the decision, President Sall has put interests of his country, the peace and stability of West African region above his personal interest. The Nigerian leader, who applauded the decision of his Senegalese counterpart, said history will be kind to President Macky Sall. The House of Representatives has resolved to probe what is regarded as illegal auctioning of the federal government properties by Nigerian Port Authority (NPA) and Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency (NIMASA). Other agencies allegedly involved are the Nigerian Railway Corporation (NRC), River Basin Development Authority (RBDA), and Nigerian Customs Service (NCS). This is sequel to the adoption of a motion moved by Oluwole Oke during plenary on Thursday in Abuja. He alleged that NPA, NIMASA, NRC, NCS, and others had been auctioning public property not only at a ridiculous price, but also without following due process. The committee would report to the House within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has warned public tertiary institutions in the country not to take advantage of the student loans and access to higher education in Nigeria Act to increase their tuition fee. This followed the adoption of a motion by Tasir Ogbo in yesterday's plenary in Abuja. The House also resolved to convene a legislative summit on student loans and access to higher education with all stakeholders in the education sector. He said the objectives and intention of the student loans were patriotic and will in fact positive access to higher education in Nigeria, especially among the underprivileged citizens. He said there was an urgent need to convene a legislative summit with all key stakeholders to develop a strategy to ensure the smooth implementation of acts for the benefit of indigent of Nigerian students. Taraba State Governor Akbu Kepasa has declared primary and secondary school education as free in the state. The governor made the declaration at the Ebenezer Primary School in Wukari today. According to him, starting from next academic session, primary and secondary education in Taraba State will be free. The governor emphasized that it is the government's responsibility to bear the expenses and students should not be subjected to any fees. Agbu Kefa said that apart from fulfilling a campaign promise, the hardship occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy has made the move imperative. The governor had earlier slashed university tuition fees by 50% to cushion the current hardship in the country. Many of the university students expressed joy at the development, saying the reduction in fees will greatly enhance their lives. And the news is coming to you from studio of Sawaba FM. More news after the short break. Do stay.
This is news on the hour. Sawaba Radio FM. Stay tuned.
Thank you for staying tuned. And don't forget, you can also watch us live on our Facebook page at Sawaba FM 104.9 Hadejia. The Defense Headquarters says troops of armed forces have in the last 3 weeks eliminated 35 terrorists and apprehended others in various operations in the Northwest. Brigadier General Abdullahi Ibrahim, who spoke on behalf of the Director, Defense Media Operations, said this yesterday in Abuja at the bi-weekly news conference on the operations of the armed forces. He said the troops of Operation Hadinke and other operations in the northeast eliminated 35 terrorists and apprehended 15 suspects. Abdullahi Ibrahim said the troops, in conjunction with civilian joint task force, conducted ambush operation at Mandara Mountain in Goza local government area of Borno and neutralized a notorious terrorist commander. He said the offensive operations against the terrorists in various theaters of operations also led to the surrender of 967 terrorists, comprising of 82 adult males, 354 adult females, and 531 children. The Kano State Police Command has debunked the report that one of the officers in the command was killed during a clash with thugs at the Rimi Market area on Tuesday. The command's public relations officer, SP Abdullahi Haruna Kiawa, confirmed that to newsmen. Eyewitnesses said the policeman was hacked to death during the clash, but the police spokesman said the report was received that a group of thugs were fighting at Rimi Market attempting to attack innocent citizens. He added that the Commissioner of Police directed that the suspect be transferred to the Command Criminal Investigations Department for discreet investigation, after which the case will be charged to court for prosecution. Sorry for the inconveniences. Director General of the World Health Organization (WHO) Tedros Ghebreyesus has expressed concern over imminent food insecurity in Horn of Africa due to the climate crisis. Mr. Ghebreyesus said that the climate crisis is a major factor determining human health outcomes. He added that the climate crisis, which prolonged drought in the greater Horn of Africa, has already driven a wave of hunger, migration and disease, putting a major strain on health services. He said this year, nearly 60 million people will face food insecurity across Greater Horn of Africa, which include Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, and Uganda. According to him, with the climate crisis, changing weather patterns, mosquitoes that carry diseases are increasing in density and spreading further afield. Meanwhile, the United Humanitarian Coordinator in South Sudan, Peter Bandi, has released $8 million from the Humanitarian Fund to provide life-saving assistance to the 150,000 people in the country who have fled the conflict in Sudan. The United Nations Humanitarian Affairs Office said the number of arrivals is projected to increase as the crisis continues. Onward transportation deportation of South Sudanese returnees and refugees from transit site remains a significant challenge due to the combination of poor road infrastructure and insecurity in some areas. He added that there are also the additional logistical challenges posed by the onset of the rainy season. Peter Ban said many people who fled the conflict in Sudan are arriving across border with nothing. The fighting between Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces, now in its third month, has displaced nearly 3 million people according to the estimate by humanitarian agencies. The largest number of refugees have gone to Chad and Egypt, the report said. Opposition party in Ghana boycotted parliament yesterday in solidarity with their leader in parliament and newly elected MP, who are both standing trial on separate charges. The largest opposition party, the National Democratic Congress, said it was the start of actions they were taking to end the ongoing persecution of the MPs. The absence of the MPs, who make up half of Ghana's parliament, compelled the speaker to adjourn proceedings as most of the issue being considered were on questions raised by the opposition MPs. The minority leader, Kasser Ato Fasson, is accused of causing the financial loss of 2.3 million linked to the purchase of 200 ambulances, an allegation he has denied. The new MP, James Quaison, is undergoing trial on charges of forgery and perjury. The Supreme Court nullified his election for failing to renounce his dual Ghana and Canadian citizenship when he filed a nomination to run as MP in the 2020 election. He has been ordered by a High Court judge to appear in court every day, a directive now being challenged at the Court of Appeal. I will wrap up the news with this and a recap of the major stories. From the news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu constitutes Presidential Committee on Tax Reform. Nigerian troops kills 35 terrorists in Northwest region. United Nations to support 1,000 people who fled the conflict in Sudan. On behalf of the news editor Haruna Ahmad Bultua and the news department, I am Salma Adamu Iko. Thank you for listening.